This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Bob, hey, happy basketball media day number 2. What's going on in Birmingham?
Well, it just started to rain. I was actually having lunch with a friend, and I stepped outside, but thankfully I'm under the awning at the patio. So, yeah, it just started to rain, even though it's supposed to rain today. But it was raining in, actually we're in Mountain Brook, I guess, technically. Yeah, it's raining, yep.
Man,
otherwise,
Bob, these basketball media days are just action-packed. I mean, you break football media days into what, 4 different days, so all the coaches have a lot of time to talk and then talk to everybody else as they go through room after room after room. You heard from everybody yesterday. I mean, how do you keep up on all of this?
Well, you don't. It's hard. I missed a couple of coaches just because Eric and the players were there, Devo and Trem Brazell. So, you know, I mean, they have their formal time, right? With Eric's got, or every coach has got 20 minutes, but then you get to get a little extra time. He's nice enough when he's, you know, gets there and is having some lunch to talk with the media who's there, and we get the players a little bit. But, yeah, it's pretty crazy because basically it starts at 9 a.m., I mean, the interviews, and then they wrap up about 6. You know, Chris Jans, the Mississippi State coach, was the last guy, and he got a few questions, but there's a lot of media's left by that time. Everybody's just kind of tired. He just kind of said, hey, guys, thanks for sticking around. I mean, I don't think he was upset or anything. It's just tough to go last. And, of course, they're not going to make John Calipari go last or Eric or somebody like that, Nate Oates or whoever. But, yeah, it's a long day. And, you know, I was talking something about this. Next year they're adding Texas and OU. So what are they going to do there? They're going to start it at 8 a.m. and go till – I don't know. It's crazy because they used to spread it out more. But I think during football season they they don't want they want to encourage the media to come, and if they did it 2 days for the men and 2 days for the women, that's 4 days. Pretty hard to do if you're covering football too. So, you know, it's just a tough situation. But yeah, there's long days here for sure.
Bob, is it like anything like football media days where you don't really learn anything? Did you learn anything about any of these teams?
Yeah, I learned some stuff about Arkansas. You know, I talked to Devo primarily. They've got to talk to Trevor a little bit. I think he's feeling real good with his knee, but I don't know if he's going to play in the exhibition. They're having an exhibition game tomorrow night against University of Texas at Tyler. It's a D2 school in Tyler, Texas, as you might imagine. And but you know, I think Trevin's ready to go. But you know, it's like Eric said, they don't necessarily need him against Tyler. They want him ready for March. And he said Khalif Battle, who missed a red-white game with some kind of foot soreness, he'll probably be available tonight. Not sure he'll play. They're obviously going to be careful. And I think everybody's just, like he said, everybody's ready to play somebody else. I mean, I know Texas, Tyler doesn't probably excited right now. The Purdue game the next week, that's pretty exciting on the open day. But, yeah, you find out some things. I got to talk to Connor Vanover. He was here from Missouri. Missouri brought 4 players. They can only have 2 kind of do the formal interviews, but I ran into Connor, so I got a nice interview with him. I'll be doing an update on Connor and, Alan Flanagan, who's from Little Rock Parkview. He was at Auburn with his dad, was an assistant. Wes with Bruce Pearl. Now they're both at Ole Miss with Chris Beard, the former UALR coach. So, got to talk to Chris and ask coaches about him. So, I think it's a pretty productive time. You get to talk to, Todd Golden, the Florida coach, knew Eric Musselman from being on the West Coast together, and he had some information about Eric and why I think he's so good in the transfer portal that I'll be working up for a story. So it's a pretty productive time.
All right, so Bob, Seth Greenberg, I see Scotty Bordelon writing about this. He says it's a typical must team. I'll tell you what that means to me, and then you tell me, what you think of what a typical must team is. Typical must team is going to play hard defense no matter what. He's going to fit an offensive game plan or scheme to the players that are on the court or on his team or that he feels he can trust to give anywhere from 20 to 35 minutes a game. It's also a rotation of 7 to 8 players. It doesn't start like that, but that's where you get to once you're into the SEC. And by the time you're in the tournament, you know exactly who's going to get the minutes and at what time, or at least you feel like that. But there are more players on this team this year, the way it's made up, that are used to playing 20 or more minutes a game than 7 or 8. So, I mean, that's what makes this non-conference portion so interesting. So what do you think Seth Greenberg means when he says typical Eric Musselman team?
Well, I think the points you hit on. I also think it's an older team, right? Eric was at Kentucky's got 8 freshmen, and they're probably all going to be one and done guys for most of them are. And in this day and age, talents look great, right? But Arkansas had 3 freshmen last year who all got drafted real high, with Anthony Black and Nick Smith and Jordan Walsh, and they were all very good players, and I think they're all going to be good pros. But maybe I think, and then he had other freshmen too. I think 6 freshmen was a little too much for Eric, and he more or less said that yesterday. So I think this is more of a typical Eric team. They have 2 really good freshmen, maybe great freshmen in Fabal and Landon Blocker, but he's got a more experienced team. He's got a bunch of seniors, not just seniors, but seniors now who have been, like Devo Davis, 4-year guy. You've got Makai Mitchell and Jalen Graham are back, and Joseph Payne's back for his 2nd year. And so I think he's got a more experienced team just in college. Davenport I think he's 24. He's an older guy from Cincinnati, and so I think it's more a team that Eric's liking. Their experience in college and their experience in his system haven't been here, and I don't think you'll ever see Eric having 6 freshmen again.
Bob, I do want to ask you something about this football team coming up. So change it up a little bit. How much? And I know we talk a little bit about this, but will the sky be falling if we don't win this game against Mississippi State? How bad does this Arkansas Razorback team need a victory?
Well, real bad. I mean, bad enough that Sam Pittman all but said it's a must-win. I mean, how many times do you hear coaches say you got to win this game? I mean, even if they believe that and feel that, and the fan base knows, and the media knows, and everybody knows, it's very rare you hear a coach say that. I give Sam Pittman credit for not ignoring the elephant in the room. I mean, they got to win this game, and it doesn't mean their season's going to turn around and they're going to, definitely go to a bowl game. When you've lost 5 in a row, and they've had a really tough time, and I tell people, I know nobody likes losing, but look at those 4 games and tell me how many teams would do real well against that stretch. I don't think a whole lot would. And of course, they put themselves in a hole by losing to BYU, a solid team, but one they should have beaten. But they've really left themselves no margin for error. Certainly, if they want to go bowl game, they can only lose 1 more game. And they still got to go to Gainesville, where they've never won. They've got to play what looks to be a pretty good Missouri team. So, Mississippi State's desperate for a win, too. But Arkansas's at home. It's hard to compare scores, right? But Mississippi State got blasted at home by LSU, a team Arkansas took to the wire in Baton Rouge. They got blasted at home by Alabama, a team Arkansas took to the wire in Tuscaloosa. So on paper, Arkansas looks like the better team. That's why they're favored. But they were favored to beat BYU too. But yeah, they got to win this game. And I give credit to Sam Pittman for not shying away from that and not shying away from the obvious, which sometimes coaches have a tendency to do.
There's a difference, Bob, between where you want to see improvement and where the capability to improve actually might lie. So offensively, where do you think that Arkansas can improve? I'm talking football here. Again, a difference between what you'd like to see, what you want to see, and what might actually be possible.
Well, Mississippi State, this is kind of a bit of a surprise because Zach Arnett, their new coach, was their former defense coordinator, but Mississippi State has really struggled on defense, particularly in the passing game. I mean, Western Michigan quarterback, a backup, lit them up during their last game for an open date. So I'm anticipating Arkansas will be able to pass the ball very well. Because if Western Michigan can do it, I think KJ Jefferson Arkansas could do it. Of course, to do that, he's going to have to get some help. He's going to have to get some pass blocking. But I thought the pass blocking was not terrible last week against a really good Alabama team. So I think there was some reason for encouragement. But I think based on what Mississippi State's done this season in pass defense, there's every reason to believe Arkansas can exploit that. And KJ Jefferson, especially an older quarterback, I think Arkansas will be able to move the ball through the air in this game.
Bob, it's a team game. Football's the ultimate team game, and we do talk about individuals a little bit, but we know it's a team game. Which one of these, that being said, which one of these running backs do you want to see, either A.J. Green or DeBinion, or maybe somebody you haven't seen that much this year?
Well, it'd be nice to see Rocket Sanders, right? We know that's not going to happen this week, and I don't know about the rest of the year, but I'd like to see more A.J. Green. I mean, he's got the best average. I think he had 44 yards on 9 carries last week, or maybe it was only 6. I know he's had his shoulder banged up, so that might be why they're not putting him out there as much. I think Rashad DeBillion's a good player, although he had rough sledding running the ball last week. He had the touchdown catch, but I'd like to see what A.J. Green could do if he gets 18, 20 carries a game and kind of gets what you would have anticipated Rocket Sanders doing. Doesn't mean you don't give DeBillion the ball too. Dominic Johnson, all due respect, I think he's showing the effects of having back-to-back knee surgeries because he obviously hasn't been the player he was before those, and I take no pleasure in saying that, but I think it's pretty obvious. And so I'd like to see A.J. Green, get a lot of carries and see what they can do. Not just 8 or 9 carries, but how about 18 or 20 carries?
What was the deal with you and Chris Beard yesterday? Just getting a lot of play, and it's 2 media days in a row now. If you're looking at basketball media days, Bob. I mean, last year there was the back and forth with you and Cal, which was very entertaining. Chris Beard did a little more of the talking yesterday, but it just, I don't know. It's like, does he know that the university is in Fayetteville and not in Little Rock?
I think he does, considering he coached at UALR. I think he was just having some fun. I don't know him real well, but I know him a little bit. Arkansas, when Mike Anderson was there, Arkansas played at Texas Tech when Chris was there, and obviously Arkansas played Texas Tech in the NCAA tournament, beat them a couple of years ago, and he had a little bit of a history. Nevada had played Texas Tech, but I know obviously things didn't end well for Chris Beard at Texas. He's gotten a fresh start at Ole Miss, but off the court things aside, I think everybody would agree he's a pretty accomplished coach. But he's a local guy. I always go for the local angle. So I was going to ask him about Keith Carter, the Ole Miss AD who hired him, who's from Perry, Arkansas, and played for Ole Miss. And before I could kind of get in the question, he goes, "You're going to ask me another Arkansas question?" I said, "Well, sort of. I'm not going to ask you about your AD who's from Arkansas." And he started talking about restaurants in Little Rock and asked me if I'd been here or there. And I said, "Well, I live in Fayetteville." And he said, "Well, Little Rock's the capital," which I would say, well, I'm not the Capital Bureau. If I was the Capital reporter, I'd live in Little Rock. I cover University of Arkansas at SEC, so ergo I live, Fayetteville is basically the capital of athletics in Arkansas, right? No offense to Little Rock. And so it's just kind of a funny thing. Some people thought, I guess he was trying to intimidate me or something. I think he was having some fun, and I was having some fun. But, yeah, you're right. I did get a lot of play on social media. But, yeah, I think he was just having some fun.
Bob, he doesn't know you well enough. You can't be intimidated. That's
what I was going to say.
Well, I don't think he was trying to intimidate me. I think he was just trying to have a light moment.
Trying to have a little personality.
He came by and said, "Hey, enjoyed it," and shook my hand. No, I mean, like I say, I'm not going to pretend I know Chris Beard real well, but I have no problem with him, and I don't think he has a problem with me. I think that was just a kind of a fun exchange, and But yeah, anybody thinks that was a heated discussion or a negative thing, I think they're misinterpreting it. I think he was just having some fun, and I was trying to have some fun too.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.